Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor, and welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Crendor, where today I am fishing with Octopimp.
Hello, it's me, Octopimp. I'm here. I was gonna say I'm fishing with you, but I don't think it counts because you're the one fishing. I'm here while you're fishing.
Yes. Well, there was a point where I would always be like, hey, do you want to fish with me, person? And then sometimes we would, but it hit a point where I was like, it's a lot easier if I just fish and then the other person can just talk and focus on talking about whatever it may be.
Right, of course. Whatever the topic of discussion is at the time.
Yes. Myself, right. I'm a professional. I can handle doing multitasking.
I'm not. I'm probably the least professional person you'll ever meet.
Well, I'm an unprofessional professional.
Okay, that's good. Hey, you should put that on your business card. Honestly, that is like
yeah.
That is a very, very good tagline for a business card. WoWcrendor, unprofessional or professional unprofessional.
Yeah, or my Twitter profile, which essentially is my business card.
That too. Do you ever get asked to promote yourself and you're just like, just Google me? Like just
usually I'll either say Google me or I'm like, just follow me on Twitter. It's
yeah,
like one
exactly.
Of those two.
Yeah. There you go.
So for anybody that doesn't know who you are, why don't you just tell everybody who you are?
Hey everybody, my name is Octopimp. I don't do as much. I used to say I do YouTube stuff, but I don't do that so much anymore. Yeah, I helped make a series called 50% Off on YouTube. It was a bridge series. It was an anime parody series. I did a lot of anime content and voiceover stuff, and I also stream on Twitch. So that's basically what I do.
Sweet.
There you go. Yeah.
So to get started, first I'm gonna ask you, how did you get the name Octopimp?
Okay, so when I was, this is kind of a funny story. So when I was in high school, I was playing Battlefield 1942. I don't know if you've ever played that game before.
I have.
I love that. I loved that game. That game was great.
I was just talking about today.
Do you remember the Desert Combat mod?
I do.
Yeah, that changed everything. I think that mod honestly spawned a lot of like more modern shooters that we got after that point.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
Yeah, I was playing Battlefield 1942, and do you remember? Oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna admit this. But do you remember like during that time you could like transfer games between computers and you could still play as long as it wasn't online?
Yeah, I do.
So please don't arrest me for this. We did that in high school because I went to a boarding school, so we had two computers in my room, and my friend and I would play Battlefield 1942 against each other. And one day I came back to my room, and in the multiplayer name, there was Octopimp written. And I was like, I didn't put this in here. Who came into my room and played Battlefield 1942? But I thought the name was so funny, I was like, I'll just keep using it. So I just kept using it. It was like, I just kept using it ever since then. And that has been my name.
Damn, that is not what I expected.
No. I mean, and it's just like, it worked and it's simple and it already evokes a funny image in your mind. So it's just like, I'll just stick with it. Yeah.
So I got a few questions stemming from that story alone.
Yeah, hit me.
Number one is, what's a boarding school like? Because the only time I've ever heard of boarding schools are people that go to boarding schools. It's like I went to a boarding school, but I never understood like what actually is a boarding school. And then I think like there's a cartoon where somebody went to a boarding school. But I don't remember which cartoon. So what was that like? And what actually is a boarding school?
So it wasn't so much, well, it was sort of a boarding school. Basically, it was a, I say that only to simplify it, but essentially what it was is it was a school focusing on fine arts. So it was a high school that focused on like theater, art, media, which was like video editing, photography, things like that, or like video production and photography and stuff like that, music, dance, stuff like that. But because I grew up in Minnesota, so we pulled from all over the state, so there were dorms there. And because I lived far enough away from the school, I was able to stay in the dorms. So during my junior and senior year of high school, I lived at the school. So it wasn't a boarding school like, oh, you kids are so bad, you need to go to boarding school. It was more just like, you know, you want to focus on this, so we're letting you live at the school so that, you know, you don't have to worry about commuting to and from the school because it's far enough away that it would be obnoxious, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Yeah,
it's kind of just like a mini college, essentially.
Exactly, yeah. So I got the dorm experience before I went to college, which was actually kind of nice. Instead of just like the first time I was like away from home and going to school was at college, so I had already sort of experienced that.
Was there like a reason you went to this boarding school? Like, did you want to be an actor or a writer? Or like,
yeah, I did. I wanted to be a theater actor, like a traditional theater actor. And actually, I went to college for musical theater. So, yeah, I focused on theater and went there, and I was like, I want to be an actor. I want to do it. Like, and then quickly realized that it wasn't for me once I actually started, you know, attempting to do it. Yeah. As is the case sometimes.
Yeah, I think that happens for a lot of people in a lot of things. Even YouTube and Twitch and all that. Like, a lot of people want to do it, and they start doing it, and they're like, oh.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah, Battlefield 1942 is a great game.
Oh, yeah. That game was amazing. I think that was probably the first online shooter. No. Well, it was the second online shooter I got really into. The first one I ever got into was that free game, America's Army.
Oh my god, I played that too.
Right? Because the only reason was because it was free.
Yeah.
And because it was the only game that my dad would actually, because my dad really hated violent games. So it was the only violent game that my dad would let me play because you weren't actually shooting them. It was like a war, because remember like when you would get shot, you would like put your hands on your head and like lay down? Yeah, because you weren't actually killing them. But that was the only other one that I got like super into. And then after that, I think I went back because I think Alien vs. Predator 2 came out before Battlefield 1942. But that was the other first-person shooter I got super into. But like Battlefield 1942, I spent a lot of time because also I loved the huge maps.
Yeah. Well, it's like also the first one to do like a huge map type of combat.
Yeah, it was 64 players on a server. I think it was 32 and 32 on each side. Yeah. That was like the official servers were that size. And I remember my favorite thing to do was do the Battle of Iwo Jima, get into the aircraft carrier and beach it by driving it up on land.
Oh my god, I remember.
Yeah, that was fun.
Back to me.
Yeah, that was a good game. I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing World of Warcraft?
I started playing World of Warcraft November of 2004. So 14 years ago.
Oh, wow, you started before I did.
Yeah, I played, because it was my senior year of high school. Speaking of, so actually, wow, this all oh my god, this all relates back. So I got WoW in my senior year of high school, and they didn't want, they were okay with us having computers in our room, but they didn't want us connecting to the internet in our room. So having the local LAN was fine, where, you know, my friend had his computer in my room and we would play that way, but they didn't want us having internet. So what I would do is I would sneak a LAN cable out of my dorm room out into the commons area, and what I did is they would like unplug it if they saw it, and they would like knock on my door and be like, you can't do that. And I was like, okay. So what I did is I snuck it behind the couch cushions through the couch. And then like move the couch up against the wall. And so that they couldn't see that the cord was sneaking out into the internet, out in the common area. And then I would play WoW in my room. And actually, you want to know something really funny?
Yeah.
The character that I play now is that character. It's still that character.
You haven't changed.
I have not changed it. He has the same name. With slight 1 or 2 letters added depending on name availability on per servers that I went to. Is the same name. He is the same class, of course, because I can't change classes. But he is the exact same character from 14 years ago. So it's kind of weird if you think about that.
What class is it?
Shaman.
I like Jesse. I think Jesse's had the same character.
Yeah. Since
he started too.
Yeah. Same. It's well, when I was leveling, you kind of just did whatever while you were leveling back in vanilla. Nobody knew what the hell they were doing. So, and then I played, when I hit endgame, I was restoration for a very long time. And then I switched over to enhancement, and I haven't gone back since then because I love enhancement too much.
Interesting. I remember, yeah, because like back in vanilla, while my one friend played a shaman, and he was, I think he went enhancement, but he went a one-hander and a shield to level with, which was like terrible.
Yeah, it was not good. You wanted to two-hand to level.
Yeah.
But that's when you would get like the crazy crits because Wind Fury could proc off itself.
Yeah.
So if you got like 6 Wind Fury crits, you could just like one-shot anybody like in PvP, or like you would just like chunk mobs for like 3/4 of their health. It was insane. Yeah, that was really fun.
Are you excited? Are you gonna be playing when the classic WoW comes out? Are you gonna like retry it?
You know what? Honestly, I don't think so. I think there's too many quality of life things I'm used to in WoW now that I think if I played it, I would just get very annoyed by. I just think that there's too much, because I mean, I don't think portals exist, do they? Oh, no, mages had portals, didn't they? Yeah. But just, like...
Well, flight paths are one thing where if you had to fly around, you would have to click each flight path manually, like one by one. You couldn't just be like, I want to go here, and then go there. It would be like, I gotta go this one, and then this one. It was like...
Yep. You could only fly to what was connected to the initial flight path, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I say portals, I mean like there were no like communal portals. Like you had to get a mage to send you someplace, right?
Yeah, you had to get a mage, and then you'd usually pay him like 50 silver or something.
You tip them. I remember because I had never focused on crafting, or I really had a class that had a tippable service. Because shaman didn't really have that, but I never really focused on crafting very much. But I was a transmutation specialist in I think BC, and so, or no, was it BC? No, that was Wrath of the Lich King. I was a transmutation specialist for alchemy, and so I would people would tip me when I would get the meta gems, the head spot gems, when I would because they would pay me to do the transmutation for that. So sometimes when I would get a proc, and those sold for quite a bit, they would pay me to when I would get a proc, they would pay me like an extra like 30 or 40 gold per proc, which was nice. I mean, just free gold, like who cares? So yeah.
What was your favorite expansion then that you've played?
Oh man, I probably Wrath. I liked BC. BC was good, but if you go back, there was a lot of stuff that was kind of BS in that expansion that I didn't really care for. But I really liked Wrath. I thought Wrath did really well. I think Ulduar is probably my favorite dungeon, so I think Wrath sort of takes it for me. Man, Ulduar was a good expansion.
Ulduar was
or a good patch, I should say.
Yeah, a good patch. It was probably one of my favorite raids too. It was like just all the bosses were fun. The environment was good. It was like
I feel like the reason for me is just because like it was the first time we ever really got that scale. Like you walk in there and it's just like, because it's not meant for like tiny people, it's meant for like the titans and stuff. So you walk in and everything's so huge and you're like, whoa, this is like, you're like looking around, and like it was the first time I'd ever really looked around at a dungeon. Like I'd ever really like looked at the environment and been like, this is cool. I think that's the first time I'd ever really done that.
Yeah, there's like very few places I think I ever really did that. Like maybe when I first went into Molten Core, because they'd never been in a raid before.
Yeah. Molten Core definitely kind of had that scale too. But I think I did Molten Core so much that it just is like, it gives me PTSD at this point.
Just the trash mobs. That was the worst part about Molten Core, is the trash mobs.
Oh god, it was awful. But you had to get Exalted with Hydraxian to get the runes. Or the Aqua Quintessence to put out the runes. So you were like, oh well, at least I'm getting rep from this. But then when you got Exalted, it was like, oh well, now.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and I think the vanilla WoW kind of tied in more to old RPGs in that way, where they were more about grinding and kind of it wasn't quality of life type stuff like it is now. But I think that's why a lot of people miss it, because they did enjoy that type of grinding, but I think when we go back to it, people will be like, oh wow, they're either gonna hate it or love it. It's gonna be one of the two. Nobody's gonna kind of be like, it's okay.
Yeah, I think people are either gonna just be so spoiled, which I mean, I say they're so spoiled by the state of WoW now, but that's me. Like, I'm in that audience. Like, I don't think I could go back and play it again.
Yeah,
it's just too. I've been too, I've been too spoiled by what we have now, and I think that's. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of the changes they made have been for the better.
And I think a lot of people, it might be good if they never played Vanilla WoW to actually go back and play it. Like me, it's more of a nostalgia thing. Because I'm gonna play it, but I'll probably live stream it. But like, it is more of a nostalgia thing to go back and be like, oh yeah, I remember this and all that. Well, I don't actually want to raid or anything like this. It's not. Cause it's like I already raided. I already know how the raids are and all that. Like I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
So I know you said you really enjoyed Pandaria, which is why I'm fishing in Pandaria, but you said you didn't actually play Pandaria.
I never played Pandaria, but when I resubbed for Legion, because I quit after we killed Lich King 25-man hard mode in my guild, I quit, and I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, it's taking too much time. We're raiding for like 4 or 5 hours every weeknight. I didn't play Cataclysm. I didn't play Pandaria. I didn't play... Was Warlords after that?
Yeah.
I didn't play Warlords, but I resubbed for when Warlords updated to Legion. So, like when they did the pre-patch thing, the pre-expansion thing, I played during that. And that's when I resubbed. And so, I went back and looked at all the content that I had missed. So, like I went back and looked at the Cataclysm stuff, the Firelands, went back and looked at, because, I want all the transmogs.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at Pandaria, and as I was walking around Pandaria, I was like, this is amazing. This is beautiful. Like, the environment is cool, and the enemies are cool, the models are cool, all the mounts are sick, like... It's just really cool, and so I think it's probably my favorite environment-wise. I really, really liked it. I wasn't a big fan of the Isle of Thunder stuff. Was that the thing with the Shah of Thunder? Or no, what's his name?
The Thunderlord.
Thunderlord, that's what it was. Yeah. Like, I wasn't a fan of... I thought that stuff was a little annoying to get around in, but all the environments and buildings and things were really cool, and the sets were neat. And then I made a monk because I had my free, character boost.
Yeah.
And so I used it on a monk, and I played the monk class and ended up really liking it. It was super cool. So, yeah, I think Pandaria was neat, and I'm a little bummed I didn't get to experience it as it was, but I still think I got to see what I wanted to see, I got to see all the mounts and see all the environments and raids and all that stuff, so that was cool.
Well, that's actually one of my favorite parts of World of Warcraft in general, is just the environments and the aesthetic. Like, Northrend is probably one of my favorite zones in general, because I just love cold, snowy types of environments, or I like a lot of the green, very like Grizzly Hills-esque environments as well.
Oh man, Grizzly Hills is cool. I think my favorite zone in Northrend is what was the PvP zone? Wintergrasp?
Wintergrasp, yeah.
Yeah, I liked Wintergrasp a lot. I thought Wintergrasp
was really
that
cool.
Counts, right?
Yeah, Wintergrasp counts.
Yeah, okay.
I loved Wintergrasp, and it was you'd always compete for it because you'd get to do the dungeon thing for it.
Yeah. I actually had the Grand Black War Mammoth that drops there.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, from the boss there. I won that, on a roll.
I remember somebody won it, and then it got ninja looted or something.
Ooh, ouch.
That
yeah. Yeah, I loved Wintergrasp. I actually thought that was pretty fun. Like, going in and doing that, yeah.
I thought it was too.
Back in Vanilla, to touch back on Vanilla for a second, I remember because PvP stuff reminded me. I used to be really into PvP, and I would roll with a warlock who was aiming for High Warlord. I almost said Grand Marshal, but that's Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
They were going for High Warlord, and they had a group of people. And because I was a Resto Shaman, you know, healers, and having chain heal in PvP was pretty nice. So, especially for like those like little skirmishes you get into with like a couple people in them, it was super nice. So, she would always message me and be like, "Hey, we're gonna do PvP. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Sure." So I actually made it up to Legionnaire, just by like tagging along with her. But there was like a lot of drama because remember, only a certain amount of people could become High Warlord based on their performance. So there was drama because the people competing for it would be like in their own little like Ventrilo server and be like, "Hey, okay, I'm gonna do it this week. Like, let me do it this week because you know, so I can get it." And then like there was drama because some people like didn't listen and like pulled ahead because you had to like measure out your honor points for that week based on everyone else's. So I know that there was some drama there, but like I never was involved in it, but like all I wanted to do was just be like, "Hey, I'm just here for the honor points. Like I'll just see how far I get. Like I don't really care otherwise."
I forgot all about that. I forgot only one person could be it because I remember our server had that as well.
Yeah,
it was the little group of people trying to get it.
Sure, I think it was like only the top earner, like the top honor point earner, based on what they already had. Would like if they were warlord or if they were putting away High Warlord, they had to be warlord and then have earned the most honor points of anyone in your faction for that week. And that would push you over. So there was like almost a win trading thing going on, you know?
I remember if you won that, like you got access to that building that only certain people could go into.
Officers, yep, you got the officers things, and I'll never forget. There was somebody in our guild actually. Well, when we were attempting Ragnaros, we didn't have. We had 40, but there was somebody in our guild who was on the High Warlord grind, and they had just gotten it, and they went and bought all the High Warlord gear because it was like super good. It was all epic gear, and they got the weapon, and that was before it was what do you call it? That's before it was all there was the resilience PvP stats. It was just gear, you know, you just got gear. And so they got all that, and they came in and they were doing, it was a hunter, and they were doing insane DPS, and that's actually what put us over and let us kill Ragnaros. Was we killed him on Christmas Eve, and that's what put us over. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. Anyway, go ahead.
I think that's a cool story. I mean, that is true because the PvP gear, you'd be like, oh, I got an upgrade if you even just did some sort of PvP and got bracers. Like, unless you were to get a set piece or something. Yeah,
they weren't statted for PvP. There was no, it was just like, they had, I think, extra stamina on them, but I think that was about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like good gear. So, you know, you got the gear and it was just like probably an upgrade. The weapons were like super good. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't think they did that until Burning Crusade when they did arenas. Because I think when they did arenas, that's when they started kind of focusing more on PvP stats in general.
Yep, and they had resilience and whatnot.
So I wanted to ask you about the Proto Drake story, because you were talking about that before we recorded.
So I have a black Proto Drake, which is, I guess, one of the rarest mounts in the game at this point, because you can't get it anymore. And the only way to get it was by getting the Immortal, which was doing Nax 25 at the launch of Wrath with without anyone completing the whole thing from up to killing Kel'Thuzad without anyone dying in your entire raid group. And we did it. And then once the next patch came out, which I think was Ulduar? I don't remember. No, I don't remember what the first patch after launch was. But after that patch, the first major patch, you could not get the Black Proto Drake anymore. And I think that's actually one of the only mounts they've ever taken out of the game.
Yeah, there's very few mounts I think they've taken out. I remember one was the Ivory Raptor.
Yeah, you can't get that anymore.
Yeah.
Can you still get that Night Saber from doing the quests up in Winterspring?
I'm not actually sure if you can. I don't think you can anymore.
Can you? And what about Bloodlord Mandakir, Raptor, and
the
tiger? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can get those either because I have the tiger.
Oh, I wanted the tiger so bad. I never got the tiger.
Yeah, the tiger is the one I got, and
that was sick.
I think I got it like 2 weeks before they took it out. So I remember I would go farm it every week and just be like, I'll just try for it. And then I got it. Yep. And that story was like some guy came along with me the one time. He's like, I'll help you do it. And he ended up winning it. And he was like, well, it's your run, so you can have the thing. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then later on, he's like, oh my God, I should have kept that map.
Yeah, they took it out. I used to solo. Oh, who was that boss? It was the tiger boss from the troll dungeon. What was his name? Yeah, that guy.
The ZG one.
Yeah, ZG. Tiger boss is just what we called him.
Yeah, that's what we called him. That's why I'm Tiger Boss, Panther Boss.
Yeah, I mean, there was Tiger Boss, Panther Boss, Bat Boss. Yeah, all that stuff. But I remember you could bug him out if you killed, because even during Wrath, it was still kind of tough to solo him.
Yeah.
But you could if you killed if you got the two side mobs down at the same time, right? And then he went into phase 2. If you went up on a rock by the back part of his area, he couldn't hit you, but he was still in melee range and still aggroed to you. But there was a very specific spot you had to stand on the rock, so you just stand there and just hit him, and then it would take like, a couple minutes, but you'd kill him, and then I just did that every week, but I never got it.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yep.
I was just I was a Tarn druid, so I just go bear form and then just tank him.
And then just tank him, yeah. As an enhancement shaman, it was tough.
Yeah.
But that was what I did. But the nice thing is when you got the stacks, because Maelstrom Weapon, I think, used to apply to Healing Wave. So you would just get your stacks of Maelstrom Weapon and then just instant cast heal yourself if you were low.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think that if I'm misremembering, somebody will correct me. But that's what I did. So I just tried to farm him over and over again until I got the mount, but I unfortunately never did. But I got the Black Proto Drake, and I have Memoron's Head, which I actually got from doing Zero Lights Yogg. So I actually got that when it was guaranteed drop, as opposed to just the low percent chance that it has now. Yeah.
Did you ever get the Time Lost Proto Drake? I imagine not, because you would have probably said it.
I don't think I have Time Lost Proto Drake. I don't believe so. I do have the Grand Black Crusaders Warhorse, which is the one from doing the oh god, it's one of the achievements from Argent Tournament. I want to say it's whatever mount comes from doing Argent Tournament that like has an insanely low chance. It's insanely difficult to get.
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, let me. This is gonna drive me crazy. Black Crusaders Warhorse. Hold on. Crusaders Black Warhorse. I think this is Tribute to Immortality. That's what it was. Yeah. Which is doing Argent Tournament on 25-man hard mode with nobody dying.
Wow.
And I think you also get the Grand Crusader title from that too, which I also have.
Yeah, and I don't think you can get that anymore either.
No, you can't get that anymore, I don't think. But yeah, I was in Blood Legion at the time, and we were doing it, and we had done it, and actually, I had the screenshot somewhere that, but I had a Spectral Tiger, and I was on my Spectral Tiger for the shot, and for all of our kill shots, I would always wear the AQ40 gear for Shaman because it was so hideously ugly.
Oh yeah.
It was the orange and yellow spiky stuff, and I was a Tauren at the time, so I had these like big spiky shoulders and like the ugly like like 3-prong hat thing. It was really gross, but that's what I would always wear.
What was your favorite Shaman tier set? 'Cause I remember One of the
Oh, man,
first
that's a
things
good
I ever
question.
saw in World of Warcraft for like rating wise was I was running through Orgrimmar and I was like level 40 something in vanilla WoW, and I saw some guy that like Molten Core had just started getting raided, and the guy had tier 1
Earth Fury?
yeah, he had Earth Fury, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, and it just made me want it.
I think 10 Storms probably, because that I had that same experience with 10 Storms, because I got like my Earth Fury hat first or something. I can't remember what the first piece I got was. It was either hat or shoulders. But I saw somebody with the wolves, you know, the 10 Storms wolves pauldrons, and then like they had the crown with the glowing eyes, and I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, I need it. Like, I need that. And it was like, that was the moment. So I had the same experience you had, but with the tier 2 stuff. But favorite set,
I actually think tier 2, like in general, for all the like sets of gear, is probably my favorite.
Oh, I mean,
of,
how
like,
can you go wrong with Paladin tier 2? That's like one of the coolest sets ever.
Yeah.
I think my favorite tier set might be what was the ICC set for Shaman with the ghost shovel tusks that came out of the shoulders? Ice Witch,
Yeah,
I think it was, with like the frost, like the icicles on the helmet. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I think that one.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
I like that one. That looked really good on Tauren, and I think it was a troll at that point, but it looked really good on troll as well. Yeah.
I was just remembering I actually have my priest, because I was a priest, but I transmogged all my stuff to tier 2.
Yeah. What was tier 2 priest? Was that Transcendence?
Yeah, Transcendence.
Yeah, that's right.
I love the Transcend, and I had my Benediction too.
Oh man, Benediction. Man, remember doing the Benediction Anathema quests?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you had to buy the potions.
Yeah.
And to like you'd like throw the potions, or was it something with potions? You had like either throw them at the undead or like do something, and then you usually brought a friend along to help you do it. And they had the hunter quest one too, for hunters to get their bow staff thing.
Yep. Rockdalar and Lockdalar. Yeah, that's
Rockdalar.
right. Yeah, I remember that stuff.
I thought those were really cool. I
Yeah,
thought having
I like that
class
stuff.
specific quests and things was really neat.
Yeah, I mean, they always had class specific quests, but like the items specifically. Yeah. They also there's also the ATS stuff too, to put together ATS, and then the blue dragon staff or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess even they had that for Warlock and Paladin in a way, because you would do that for your mount, and you could just get a free mount.
That's right. Yeah. I remember help in Dire Maul getting their Warlock mounts, because you had to get to the end of Dire Maul and then do the ritual to summon the horse.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For the Warlock mount. Yep. I remember helping people doing that. That was pretty cool.
It was just, I think that's what a lot of people miss, are those types of things. It's like when some people think about Villanova, like, oh yeah, the grinding, but a lot of people just miss those unique little types of events and quests.
I feel like, honestly, one thing people miss is the mystery, because now everything is basically laid bare as soon as the patch is out, right? Like,
yeah, they data mine it.
Yeah, they data mine it, and all the information is there. But I think what people miss a lot, and maybe this is just me, is the mystery. Is like hearing whispers from other people being like, oh, yo, did you hear that you can do this if you're a warlock? Or you can do this if you're a paladin? Or like, this exists in this dungeon? And you're like, what? No way. And then you like actually see it happen, and it like, and that's what blows your mind, is like, you didn't even know that something existed in that game, and you've been playing it for so long. Like, that is the feeling that I miss, is the mystery.
Yeah, and that's just something you're never gonna get back.
No, but I'm glad that I had it, you know?
Yeah.
The way I feel is like, sure, I'm never going to get it back, but I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah, that's how I am too. It's like, you're just exploring.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Exploring the world.
Yeah, and honestly, I remember my my friends always ask me, they're like, when I was playing WoW, when I was playing a lot of WoW, my friends were like, you know, what are you going to say when you look back on that time you wasted in WoW? And I'm like, well, I'm going to look back and say I had fun doing things with people I enjoyed. And I think that's still true. I think I still look back and I'm like, you know what? I did spend a lot of time on WoW, but I did it and I had fun and I met a lot of friends. One of my best friends to this day I met on WoW, and she's actually one of the community managers for Hearthstone now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Shout outs to Zarina. She was my roommate for a while. But like, yeah, I was roommates with her, and like I met some really amazing friends on WoW, and like, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Even a lot of my real life friends I kept in contact with because of WoW.
Sure,
it's
of course.
Something that brought everybody together, and it's like it's no different than if you were to go out to a bar or something with them. It's just you were choosing to play a game together, essentially.
Yeah. Did you? This sort of ties into that. Did you ever meet anyone in WoW who like was in your guild or in your like social circle that you were like, you're way too smart for this game? Like, yeah. Like there was a guy in our guild who was like writing mods on the fly for the Lich King encounter.
Oh my
like,
god.
when we were doing Lich King 25 heroic attempts, I think hard mode attempts or whatever, like he was just like be like, okay, hang on, I'm gonna make some adjustments to this mod, like so we can get like timers out easier. Hang on, download this new file, and he would like make some changes and like on the fly, and I'm like, you're too smart for this. Like, what are you doing playing WoW? Like, stop.
That's kind of insane. Was he just like a programmer then?
Just like changing the mod on the fly to like make the encounter easier for. Yeah, it was crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah. That was or like there was this kid I remember in our guild who he was like, this was back when I was in high school, so I was like 18, but he was like 14 years old, and he was already figuring out how to like model swap on his client. And he's like, yeah, I figured out how to like model swap and stuff, like just on my display. So I'm like Kel'Thuzad. Of course, that was like super bannable offense. Yeah. But like he was doing that kind of stuff, so that was just like for it's so funny to like meet those people through WoW that you're just like, wow, you're way smarter than I am.
I think WoW in general was just the first real game to kind of casualize an online experience with a bunch of other people. Like you had games like EverQuest and stuff, but nothing kind of blew it out of the water like WoW did.
Yeah, I played Well, I mean, if you think about it, Kaplan was like in one of the top EverQuest guilds, and then he came over to make WoW.
Yeah,
you know, they recruited him out of EverQuest. Although it's funny to go back and read his forum posts his EverQuest days. Those are so good. I know. Yeah, I played EverQuest. I did play a little bit of EverQuest and Ultima Online, but I never got as hardcore into either of them just because EverQuest was so prohibitively difficult.
Yeah.
But I never got into them as much as I did WoW. You know, WoW was really like the one that I really went in hard on. I mean,
that was the thing, was they were too difficult kind of for a lot of people, and then WoW just kind of streamlined it all, and that's what made WoW so accessible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, I went in, like, I really invested heavily in WoW. Like, I mean, I think I've told you that I contest at Blizzcon in 2007. Yeah. I went in at BlizzCon 2007. I won the dance contest. I won 2 free years of WoW. And then the next year, no, they didn't have one. 2008, or no, they didn't have. They skipped a year. I think it was 2006.
What year did they skip? Yeah,
they skipped a year.
Years. Let's find out here. BlizzCon. I remember. Let's see. 05. They skipped 06, and they skipped 2012. 2012. Those are the 2 years they skipped. Yeah.
Because I got second place in the costume contest the next BlizzCon I went to, because I dressed up as Tyrael from Diablo 3 wasn't even out yet. It was Diablo 2. I dressed up as Diablo 2 Tyrael, and I got second place in the costume contest there. And then I did the orc male dance for the dance contest again, and I didn't win, but I had a lot of fun. And I dressed in like the whole MC Hammer Gold LeMay outfit. That was really, that was a good time, yeah. But no, that was I loved BlizzCon. Was a blast because you got to see your friends and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't know you went that far back for BlizzCons.
Know. I also did. This is a little tougher to find, but they had the sound alike contest for BlizzCon, And in 2007, I also entered that, and I did the okay, listen up, groups 1, 3, 5 center, 2, 3, yeah, the Onyxia serious business guy, and more dots, leave, run to the center, reason, run to the center. That guy, yeah, I did that guy, and everybody thought that was hilarious. I didn't intend to win that one, but people got a kick out of it, and that was really a fun experience. That's not one I often like talk about, because I mean I didn't win that, but I thought I thought that was a lot of fun to do. That was because it's like circumventing the guidelines a little bit, because it is from WoW, but yeah.
Yes. Are there any games you played that you played as much as WoW, or was WoW like the game you played the most?
Oh man, I mean, I think I probably put the most time into WoW, but I don't know. Have I played anything else that much? I have like 1,700 hours in Guilty Gear, but I don't think that's as much as time as I put into WoW. I think WoW is the game I have played the most, because I think I have like, I did slash played on my character when I was playing Legion, and I think it was like 213 days or something like that. That, I mean, that's just like times 24. Yeah, 5,100. Yeah, it's definitely the game I've played the most. Yeah, it's a lot of hours.
What about just like a favorite game? Like for me, for example, I love Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah. Like, do you have a game like that that's just a favorite game of yours?
Oh man, let's see. What's a favorite game of mine? I don't count fighting games because I think that's a different experience. Man, you know what's really funny about this? I was actually looking at my most played games on Steam. And I think after fighting games, it's like Mass Effect 2 or something.
Wow.
I really like Mass Effect 2. Yeah, Mass Effect 2, 135 hours. It's a really good game. But I wouldn't say it's a favorite game of mine. That's such a tough question.
Yeah.
I would probably have to say God Hand, probably. That's like my favorite game. Which is a game I used to speedrun that game.
I don't know if I've ever heard of this.
God Hand. Well, I played it on the Grump, on Grumpcade.
Really?
So God Hand was a game made by Clover, which is the people that made Okami and Beautiful Joe. And it was made by Shinji Mikami, who's the guy that directed Resident Evil 4, Vanquish. He directed a bunch of stuff. But Evil Within, he also did. But it's like a beat 'em up. It's like a 3D beat 'em up game. And so it's sort of the logical next step of like, Double Dragon or like Turtles in Time, those games like the side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's sort of like, I feel like the next logical step of where those types of games should have gone, but it was very, very difficult. And its controls are not great. It's got extremely clunky controls, and IGN gave it a bad score, and that's sort of a meme at this point. But it's got a cult following, and it's a really, really good game. I think the tech in it, and like there's a lot of like little strategies and tricks you can do that make the game a lot of fun, and like really sort of a skill-based game. But I think that's probably my favorite game, just for its the ability, because the way it works is, you press square and that's your combo. You know how like in Double Dragon you do like a punch and then like an uppercut, kind of thing. In this, you can actually select which moves come next in the combo, right? So it's like to start you do like a straight, a hook, like an uppercut, and then you like and then like a cross, and then like you just repeat that. But you can buy moves and then select which moves go in those slots. So it's like, oh, your auto combo changes, and you can really put any move in there, but it might be bad to put in there. It's just like so you want to put like quick fast moves that can like bait out a guard from the enemy, and then there's like a guard break move, which if the enemy is blocking, if you attack an enemy that's blocking too many times, you get like knocked back. But you can do a guard break, which will stun them if they're blocking. So it's like you get to like play around with combos and stuff, but in a more controlled environment, because it's just like you don't have to know the inputs. You just have to push the button and it'll do the moves. But you know, then the hard part gets like fighting 3 enemies at once while dodging and like backflipping and stuff. It's really cool. It's a fun game. You should watch some gameplay of it if you get the chance. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll check it out. It sounds pretty cool. I mean, I always love things like Turtles in Time and stuff.
Yeah, I just think it's 3D, so it's not side-scrolling, but I think it was the next logical step in that genre. It's too bad that it didn't do super well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that, it sounds like a fighting game. Like, are you really into fighting games?
Oh yeah, I love fighting games. I compete in Evo and.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I play a lot of fighting games.
Have you fought against Sam at all? Then I know Sam's like big Super Smash boy.
I played Sam when Smash 4 first came out, and it was pretty close because we were playing the same character at the time. But I changed characters since then. I don't play a lot of Smash, but I play mostly like 2D fighting games. Like Guilty Gear is my favorite fighting game. But I've been playing Dragon Ball FighterZ a little bit, trying to get that down. That's a pretty fun one.
What do you think of that so far? I know a lot of people have been talking about it.
It's good. It's definitely simpler than a lot of other assist fighters. Are you familiar with what an assist fighter is? So an assist fighter is like Marvel vs. Capcom, where you select a team of characters and you have an assist button where your benched character will come in and do an attack.
I see.
And so the reason that that's unique is because it allows you to extend combos that normally wouldn't be extendable by using an attack that isn't your main character. So, you know, like attacking and in the middle of a combo calling an assist, and then that like juggles the character to continue the combo.
I see.
You can also use it in pressure and things like that. But it's not a genre I'm used to, so it's taking some like adjusting. But I really like it, and I think they did an amazing job. It looks incredible. You know, it looks beautiful. But I'm not a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. So that's a little, I'm not super sold on, like, that's not a selling point for me. But the enjoyable gameplay is definitely a selling point for me. Like, it is a fun game, I think, for sure.
So, speaking of Dragon Ball Z,
yeah,
I know you're very much into anime.
Yes.
And so I kind of want to take a little side road into the anime.
Let's do it.
And I'm curious,
Buckle up.
do you buckle up? Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you even get into anime? Because I know being so like ingrained into the anime scene, like I'm curious as to how you even got into anime in the first place.
So the first anime I ever watched, I don't know what it's called because it was like, I've been looking for it for years and people keep suggesting these different things to me, but it doesn't, I look at them and I'm like, this isn't it. It was basically like Western fairy tales, but told in like the animation was that very like early 80s style speed racer kind of anime look to it. I don't know what it was called. I've never been able to figure it out. But the first anime that I really watched was Samurai Pizza Cats on Fox Kids. And I didn't know it was anime at the time. I just thought it looked weird. But
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats. So here's actually this actually is kind of a funny thing to it too. So Samurai Pizza Cats was a licensed show that they brought over from Japan, and from what I understand, either the scripts didn't make that they sent them. Oh God, I can't remember what the actual name of the show is called. It's like Kato Ningen something, whatever. The scripts, they're like, nobody's gonna get this, it doesn't make any sense, so they basically tossed the scripts out and just wrote the episode based on what they saw, and then dubbed it with that. So it's kind of it's the first abridged series, because really, they were just like, you know what, let's just write our own scripts. And, I mean, they didn't, like, Japan didn't care, they weren't super attached to this IP, It's not like it was Dragon Ball or whatever. They're just like, just do whatever. And they did, and it was like, funny, and I liked it. And so that was the first anime that I like really liked. That was the first anime that I got like really into and would get up every morning on Saturday to watch.
How old were you around then?
Oh man, I was in 4th grade. So no, 4th or 5th grade. So however old you are when you're
so you're still pretty young at that point.
Yeah, I was very young. So that was like the first one, and then Pokemon came out. And and I watched the Pokemon anime, and then I watched Digimon as well, and I actually got way more into Digimon than I did
Oh, really? I had a few years where I watched Digimon a lot, but I still favored Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Well, I favor the Pokemon games, obviously, but the Digimon series I think I like more. Digimon Tamers, the 3rd season, is actually really good. Yeah, so that's where I got really into anime. And then when there was this neighborhood kid who was 2 years older than me, and he had some VHS tapes of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and they were white. They were white VHS tapes, and I thought that was so cool. And he showed me a couple episodes, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. And then I would save up money from like mowing lawns and my chores and things like that. And I would go to Suncoast Video, and I would buy Evangelion VHS tapes. And by the way, I have all of them. I still own them. That's the first series I ever bought the complete series of. And for Hanukkah, my mom got me the last 3 that I was missing. And
wow.
And I remember I watched all of them, and I finished the series. And that was like the first anime I watched in its entirety that I owned. So yeah, that's how I got like really into anime.
Do you have a favorite anime then? Obviously I asked you about games, but what about anime?
Probably Fist of the North Star is my favorite anime. Fist of the North Star is, are you familiar with it at all?
I'm not. I'm a very limited anime knowledge person.
So imagine Mad Max, but everyone uses karate.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, instead of like guns and stuff, or like, crossbows, they all just use martial arts. That is exactly what it is. It is Mad Max, so it's like post-apocalyptic. It's not old. It's from like 1984, I think. But the anime's from 86, but the manga's from earlier than it's by Tetsuo Hara, and Budonsen is the name of the guy who wrote it. But it's this guy who looks like Mel Gibson from Mad Max goes around and like it's that, I don't know if you've heard people go "Omae wa mou shinderu," which means you are already dead, but that's from Fist of the North Star. And he has this martial art where it's like pressure points, and if he presses the right pressure points, your like body blows up. But it's just like classic action shonen, cool martial arts, weird like mystic technique stuff. It's really cool, and I like it a lot. That's my favorite. That's probably my favorite.
So you're like, do you like what type of anime you like? Do you like shonens a lot then, or like the martial arts action?
Yeah, usually that's what I enjoy. Although that's not to say I don't like certain slice of life anime as well. There's a lot of I tend to favor, if I'm gonna watch slice of life, I like comedy as opposed to like something that's just like cutesy for the sake of being cute, or like love stories, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of whatever on that, but actiony stuff I do tend to like. I never watched Naruto, but I read all of it. I actually read all of Naruto earlier last year because I was like, you know what, I never finished it, let's finish it. So I read all 700 chapters and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, it's halfway decent. And so I do like those more action heavy series. I think they're a lot of fun. So
I was gonna ask you because I always ask people for anime suggestions because I'm very picky with anime. I'm not a big shonen person. I'm not a big I don't really care that much about action. I'm very much into the psychological thriller aspect of it. Okay. So I really enjoy things like Parasite for that aspect where you're kind of like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening, but
I'm surprised you don't. I'm surprised you don't like sports anime.
Well, I don't think I've really given. Well, I think part of the reason I don't like sports anime is I tend to compare it to actual sports because I'm very much into real sports. So
of course,
when I talk to, for example, Gmart about it, who's very into anime, he'll be like, oh yeah, like Kuroko and stuff, and he starts talking about.
Don't watch Kuroko.
Well, okay.
Watch iShield 21. Give iShield 21 a shot. It's the football anime.
Okay. How do you? Is it I or like EIE or like I?
EIE. I Shield
Okay.
21. I forget if the anime was good or not. Yeah, they was good, I think.
Okay.
I would recommend reading it because I know the manga is really good.
Okay.
I don't know if the anime adaptation was super faithful, but people love I Shield 20. Like, there are incredibly dedicated fans. And if you don't end up liking I Shield 21, there is the old standby, which you cannot go wrong with, which is Hajime no Ippo, the boxing anime, which is awesome and so good. Hajime no Ippo is incredible. So I would recommend either of those two, because I know you're a big football guy. So give I Shield 21 a shot. Let's see. What other sports are you into?
I like all the main ones. I like basketball, baseball, hockey, football. I like the big four.
We'll check out Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk is a basketball anime that predates Kuroko, and it's more about the sport.
Okay.
But Slam Dunk is like, when did this come out? This was a while ago. Slam Dunk was 1990. Yeah. I think you'd like Slam Dunk. Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like here, I'm gonna link you a picture in Discord.
Okay.
This is the cast.
All right. It looks like the like a Chicago Bulls team or something.
Yeah. But check it out. It's but there's a lot of good, I think, sports anime. But if you're into like psychological stuff, did you see Erased?
I did see Erased.
Did you like it?
Erased.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with Erased was I figured it out.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Kind of like pretty quickly, but I still enjoyed it.
Of course.
Let's see what else. One of the first like actual anime I watched was Attack on Titan. So I know a lot of people don't like it, but I still enjoy it because it was both one of the first things I saw, and I enjoy kind of like the mystery behind it all, of like what's actually going on. And I was like reading up on people still talking about it, and people still don't really know what's going on, even though you've like discovered a lot more in the actual manga.
Yeah.
But that's I'm very much into psychological thriller things, which is why I keep asking for suggestions. But I guess I figured I'd ask you because you seem to know quite a bit.
Let me see. How do you feel about like sci-fi thriller stuff?
I don't mind sci-fi.
You should check. Have you seen Steins Gate? You should check out Steins Gate. It's really good.
Steins Gate.
Oh, I know. Watch Serial Experiments Lane.
Serial Experiments Lane. What's that about?
Serial Experiments Lane is like, oh man, when is this from? Yeah, 1998.
Wow.
This is about, it's about like technology and the internet and like, you know, like what is like consciousness and things like that.
That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, Serial Experiments Lane is very, very. Check that one out, and you got a couple sports anime suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check those out.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I mean, I don't even mind reading manga. Like, I don't really ever read manga, but it's one of those things where like I wouldn't mind doing it. It's just I've never like actually sat down and been like, I'm gonna read this.
The way I would do it first with some of these anime, some of them aren't manga. Like, I don't think Lane is a manga.
Yeah.
But like the sports ones specifically.
Yeah.
Sit down, read like 5 or 6 chapters, and if you're into it, watch the anime. That's how I always do it. If it's an anime adaptation of a manga, I always sit down and I'm like, okay, let me read the first 10 chapters, and if I'm into it, I'll watch the anime. And trust me, it saves you a lot of time, because it takes you about, 30 minutes to read 10 chapters, and it takes you 30 minutes to watch one episode, So it's like, you can save yourself a lot of time by being like, oh, I like the story, let me watch the anime. And then if you want to go back and finish the manga, you can do that.
Yeah, that's a good method to do. I mean, I'm one of those people where, like, for example, I saw so many people being like, I love, like, One Punch Man. I actually enjoyed One Punch Man when I watched the things, but like...
Did you watch Mob Psycho?
I did not know.
Watch Mob Psycho 100. It's better One Punch Man.
All
No,
right.
it's not really better One Punch Man. It's they're different, but it's they start off very similar, but they end up diverging. You know, it's like, oh, kind of hapless protagonist who seems very clueless but is actually extremely powerful, sort of thing. But they diverge, and actually, I feel much more sympathetic towards the. I liked the main character of Mob Psycho much more than I liked Saitama. But I think Mob Psycho, you would probably like Mob Psycho, actually. I think you would.
All right.
It's comedic, you know, it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's also cool. So.
Like, what's the other thing I always make fun? It's like punch the Gabu fruit, punch him.
Oh, you talking about One Piece?
Yeah, One Piece. That's
yeah, One
what it
Piece
is.
Man.
Yeah, One Piece Man.
Yeah.
I know Gmart tried showing me that, and those are the types of animes I don't really like, because they're very much based on, like, there's gonna be 1 billion episodes of these.
Yep.
And it's kind of generic action. I can't get into that. Like, I don't know what it is.
The reason I think people get so into those shonen animes, especially One Piece, which, you know, is over like 700 episodes now, is because they just like the characters so much, and they just want to see them in like these new situations every time. Which is why those shonen go on for so long, because you really just get a attachment to these characters, and, you know, you just want to see them. You want to see more of them, and I get that, you know. But the shorter anime tend to be more about the overarching story rather than the characters. And the characters do play an important part, but it's like they have a story to tell, they have a start point and an end point, and that's where they want to get to. But those longer shonen anime are just basically like, we have these characters and we want to put them in different situations. Yeah. You know, that's, I think, where the focus is. So if you're really into those characters, then it's awesome, because you have like 700 episodes of these characters doing stuff. But then, you know, you have if you have the other ones, you know, then it's mostly just like, oh, the creator had this story that they wanted to tell, and now, you know, you watch it from beginning to end. And that's, you know, I think sort of where we end up with those.
I think it's just kind of it becomes a preference at that point to what you're into. So, I mean, yeah, that's like so many. I always hear people being like, yeah, Attack on Titan's like really bad, and it's like, well, I can see why people would find it bad, and I can see certain points where I'm like, yeah, it's kind of bad, but I love the I don't even think the characters are what draws me to it. I think it's more of just the entire plot of, like, when you first start watching it, you like see all this start happening, you're like, what's going on? Like, why are these things attacking? Like, why is everything? And it just, I guess that is more story than anything. It becomes a mystery. So I guess what it boils down to is the psychological thriller part is just, I like a good mystery behind everything.
Yeah, it keeps you wanting more. I mean, did you ever watch Death Note?
I haven't seen Death Note, but I know everyone. Well, at this point, Death Note to me, I just think of the Netflix and everyone complaining about how bad it is.
Well, the anime is actually, I think the anime is all right. Like, the anime is halfway deep. Like, it's a good, if you like that sort of you know, I'm behind you. No, now I'm behind you kind of thing, you know, like, oh no, I was outsmarted. Then with like the whole like thriller kind of aspect to it. Yeah. It's you might like it. It's a fun anime. The ending of it is very weak. Like the whole like the last like 6 episodes are not great. But the beginning of it is awesome. Yeah, so you can check that one out if you are so inclined. But yeah, there's some good suggestions for you in there.
All right, sweet. Yeah, that's some good suggestions. I'll probably
I will die if you do not attempt to watch some of the sports anime, just because they feel some of them feel so perfect for like what you want to watch.
Do they have are they kind of actiony, or is it more like realistic?
They're more actiony for the most part.
Okay.
But I think some of them tend to be a little more like, honestly, I mean, and you know, this is me just like speaking from having watched it so many times, but Free is pretty realistic when it comes to the swimming itself. You know, like the way they animate them swimming, and they don't do anything like insane. I mean, other than just diving, Like they don't really like do anything super crazy. They just swim real fast, you know. So it's like some of them can be pretty realistic.
Yeah. I think anime in general, I always kind of give it I kind of playfully make fun of it in a way, but it's like people are always like, Crendor hates anime. I'm like, I don't hate anime. It's just I like to make fun of it a lot because so many people get so passionate about it, and I like to make fun of everything in general. But yeah, there's plenty of animes that I've enjoyed watching. I've gotten into. It's essentially to me like adult cartoons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to ask you about the spicy food party.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when I lived in Colorado, I had a friend who was a programmer, but was an aspiring chef. And he was really good. He was an amazing cook. And so we would go over to his house and play tabletop RPGs. And he would cook for us, and it was awesome. It was super fun. So what he would do is he would once in a while he would have a spicy food party where he would make a bunch of like, and it was sort of like a potluck thing, so like everybody could bring some of their own things. So he would make everything that was served there was spicy. So it would be anywhere from the range of like jalapeno to like ghost pepper. And he made these jalapenos stuffed with chorizo that were incredible. Those were amazing. But his like, the ones that always killed me were he had these deep fried cheese fritters with habanero. And he would like, he had like one of those like, you know, little mini deep fryers with a tiny basket.
Yeah.
And he would make the little corn fritters with habanero and cheese and like deep fry them. And they were like insanely spicy. And he would like make salsa and, you know, also, and like, all sorts of like spicy meat dishes and stuff like that. It was awesome. It was so fun. But we hated ourselves the next day because everybody was just like doubled over, like, oh god. Yeah, but those were so fun. I never tried his like ghost pepper salsa that he made, but I guess people said it was like ridiculously hot.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Wait, so you've lived in quite a few places then? I've
lived in Minnesota, which is where I grew up.
Yeah.
I bet you were happy that Vikings didn't make it to the Super Bowl, huh?
I was pretty happy, actually.
Yeah, God! And then I lived in Colorado, and I lived in Colorado for 2 years, and then I live in Los Angeles. So, yeah.
Oh wow! Why'd you go to Colorado then? Was it just like?
I just wanted to change the scenery, and I was moving in with my friend from WoW actually, because they were like, we need a roommate. Do you want to move to Colorado? Because they were moving from San Diego to Colorado. And I was like, sure, I just need to change the scenery, right? So I ended up moving to Colorado, looked for a job for a while, ended up working at IBM for like a year and a half, and then I got the job at Maker, and then and then moved to Los Angeles, and then I've been here ever since.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever miss the changing seasons at all?
No.
Really?
No. I mean, if you've had to drive on an icy road ever in your life, you're like, wow, this sucks.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Minneapolis one night and I was coming home from like getting dinner or something, and the roads were so icy. I took a right turn at probably like 15 miles an hour and like almost fishtailed into 3 cars. It's like, wow, this is fun. Like,
oh my god.
I mean, it's nice to like go home and visit. Like I went home and visited over Thanksgiving, and it was fine. But like, it was, you know, I don't miss it every single day of winter. You know, it's nice to like wake up in January and have it be 70 degrees outside. Like that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get sick of it in like a number of years, but I've only lived here for about 5 years so far. Yeah. So, you know, it still hasn't lost its novelty.
Yeah, like right now it's we're getting like 10 inches of snow right now.
Oh my god. You're in Illinois, right?
I'm in Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I have a lot of friends from Chicago actually.
Yeah, I grew up here. It's
Winnetka, Buffalo Grove.
Yeah, that's the Chicago area. Essentially anywhere around Chicago is still considered Chicago.
Chicago, of course, yeah. But yeah, yeah, like the snow is nice, but it's just one of those things that I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I lived in an apartment that had a garage, a heated garage, Oh, that was so great. That was the best in winter. Because cleaning snow off your car, not fun.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Super not fun.
It's one of those things where I don't really mind the snow if I don't have to drive in it. But it is the driving in it that's terrible. But like I enjoy the changing seasons. I also enjoy change a lot, so that might be why. Like I just tend to get bored. I'm like, all right, I'm done with this season. Like I'm ready to move on to the next one. But I mean, that's why I enjoy visiting LA. I don't mind going to LA for a little bit, and I'm like, that's pretty nice. But then I'm always ready to come back home after a few days because I don't think I can handle the constant heat, even though a lot of people would.
Yeah, it's when it gets real bad and oppressive, like 90 or like, you know, over 100 degrees, then it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've talked about all the things I wanted to cover.
Awesome.
Unless there's anything else you wanted to bring up, I think.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're playing Monster Hunter, right?
I am playing Monster Hunter.
Do you like it?
I'm having a lot of fun with Monster Hunter. I never really got into Monster Hunter prior to maybe like a few months ago because Sam and all them were like, hey, we're playing Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. And so I played with them that game for a bit. And then we played the one for it was like ported to the Switch. But I didn't really have fun in that one because it was all in Japanese. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, that's the one where they had to use like Google.
Yeah. Yep. And then, yeah, I've enjoyed this one a lot, though. I thought it was really fun. It's not something where I'm not going to play it as much as Sam does, per se, where he's like level like 90 at this point. But I'm like almost 30. I enjoy just kind of farming up my stuff. I mainly enjoy playing it with friends and other people. It kind of reminds me of raiding in WoW in a way, just like mini raids.
Yeah, it's just a boss rush, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed it. Well, have you been playing it as well?
Yeah, I was huge into for Ultimate, and I put like 500 hours into that game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I liked it. I'm liking Monster Hunter World a whole lot. So
how far in are you now?
I am Hunter rank 14, but I plan to go a lot farther than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to continue and hunt some stronger and stronger stuff. So it's exciting.
What's your weapon you're using?
Insect glaive.
Ah, the insect glaive.
I was using longsword, but I found it a little too straightforward. I like the acrobatics of the insect glaive a lot. I think it's cool.
That's why I was using light bow gun. So I enjoy bow guns, but then I went longsword.
Somebody was telling me that. Oh, you went longsword? Longsword's... Yeah, the thing is, I really like the helm break from the longsword, where you like jump up and then do the downward slash.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
That makes me feel pretty anime.
Yeah, it is very anime.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where like, I was playing the light bow gun the whole way, and I was like, I just want to try a melee thing, and then they're like, try longsword. It's like the most basic type of weapon to do, and I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty much like just hack and slash them down. I'm like, all right, this is pretty good. So usually if I'm soloing, I'll just do that, but then if I'm grouping, I'll go back to my light bow gun.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, awesome.
I have a newfound appreciation of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I think it's a great series. Anyway, that's the only other thing I wanted to touch on.
All right. So yeah, where can people find you again?
Google Octopimp. I'll show up.
All right, Google Octopimp. I'll also I'll just put your Twitter or Twitch or something in the description.
Surprise me.
Yeah, I'll surprise you.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
See you later.
See you.